Lazlow has left Rockstar Games. It appears that beginning in 2018, things in his private life with his family took a turn for the worse. Him leaving to begin with was a bit of a shell shock to a lot of longtime GTA fans, considering the amount of influence that he's really had in the franchise since his first appearance in GTA 3. But when you realize the things he's currently going through in his life right now, things he didn't even have to share with us, I think it's understandable that anyone who can leave what they're doing to take care of their family would. His parents and also his sister are experiencing severe health issues, and he is obviously taking the time to take care of them. I honestly wish him the best of luck in the future, and I hope everything turns out alright for his family. First, I'd highly suggest that everyone read his statement that he posted addressing this. I put a link to it in the description. He goes into more detail about his current situation, and it's honestly quite sad, but I think everyone should read it to understand what he's currently dealing with and why he left. Next, I wanted to share this. It's an archived link to an old interview with Lazlow dating back to around late 2001 or early 2002. A friend of mine found this link that GTA forums user Zello posted in a thread about this, so thanks to him for discovering this to begin with. It's an interview with Lazlow by Chris Patterson of the former PlayStation fan site PSX2.com. It's really interesting to read through, as this would have been back when Lazlow was still working in radio in real life, producing his old radio feature, The Technophile, which was a short daily news feature on modern technology. Now, I'm going to read off a few of the questions and answers that are directly related to GTA, but the link to the full interview has been posted in the description below in case you're interested. One of the first questions that led to him mentioning GTA 3 was, how did you first get started in the radio business and eventually get to the point where you had your own website? Lazlow answered with, I got a degree in journalism and right before I graduated took a look at the biz. People working at newspapers worked like dogs and you always start writing obits or something. Local TV was full of glamour queens. All the ad agencies were hiring grads starting in the media department where you crunch numbers like how many retired people in Iowa read People magazine. I saw the local rock station and it just clicked. These people were raging like rock stars and often with rock stars. You get paid jack right out of college, so I figured I might as well have fun and get some free tickets and stuff in the process. Anyway, I walked in and said I'd like to work for free. So I started writing ads and producing them for local clients, and did the occasional on-air thing. I was never crazy about the music. I've heard STP's Vaseline enough for a lifetime. It was what was between the music that I dug. When I first heard myself on the radio in an ad, I ran over and turned the radio off. It freaked me out. But putting sound together was a blast. I've always dug radio. It's lost its soul these days though. The response to the radio in GTA 3 is proof of that. They also asked him this question, which led to him talking about how he even first got involved with Rockstar. Changing the subject a little, I just have to ask if you're going to be working with DMA design on the next Grand Theft Auto, and if so, what kind of radio will be featured in it? Lazlow responded with, I honestly don't know. I didn't know I was going to be working on GTA 3. I get questions all the time like, how did you get a nationally syndicated radio feature? Or how did you start working in video games? If I knew the answer to those and could lay it out for people in a logical path, I'd be like a super high school guidance counselor. Working on GTA 3 was out of nowhere. I bodyboarded a local beach here in Long Island and we get some pretty killer waves. There's an area where a lot of bodyboarders hang out. Mostly you hang out in the water, waiting for the next set to come in. There's a wide group of people there from all walks of life, from carpenters to CEOs. I'd been talking to this British dude in the water for months, and I said something about E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and he was like, I'm going to E3. Come to find out, he was the head guy over at Rockstar Games. We talked a lot about the industry, mostly me picking his brain. I love talking to people about what they do. Anyway, after a few months of talking trash in the water, he invited me to come into the Rockstar offices and take a look around. I met Dan Houser, and we all started talking about GTA 3. Pretty soon, I was writing with him in these intense writing sessions for GTA 3. Dan Houser is the most creative and funny person I've ever met. I never really cared about money on the whole thing. You can make great money doing mundane stuff like selling insurance. When you're in a situation with somebody that is great to work with and you have a great time, it's amazing. There are a lot of miserable people out there making bank. When you do something you wake up smiling about, congrats, you've won. If they ask me to do this stuff in other games, I'm definitely down with it. Here's a question about whether or not he would work with Dan Houser again, and it's funny hearing them refer to the next GTA back then as GTA 4. So, if Dan Houser asks you to do a station similar to Chatterbox for GTA 4, would you do it all again? There are a lot of bands who keep releasing the same album. It's no good. Dan Houser would never ask me to do the same thing again. He's a creative genius. I tell people to watch any game Rockstar comes out with. I visited a lot of game companies, but Rockstar is the coolest. I never considered working on a game for a second until I met the Rockstar guys. There's some amazing talent in that place. I've learned that there are a lot of factors to video game production, but in my mind, GTA 3 was a success because of the guys at DMA and Dan Houser. I'd work with him at a truck stop selling lottery tickets. They also asked him, how was the radio show produced? Was it already pre-scripted when you got to the studio? Lazlow responded with, sort of. Dan Houser and I got together once or twice a week for months. We'd order anchovy onion pizzas, Diet Coke, and write like crazy. We'd type up rough ideas on a laptop, banging Diet Coke like mad. After that, I'd think of people to do radio bits. If you know anyone in radio, they're like drifters. Radio people move around a lot. I called up all my friends in radio all over and sent them scripts. Some threw it in the trash, did their own thing and sent me a DAT. Others ad-libbed on top of it. The credits read like a Friends of Lazlow tour. There are people I went to college with in the game. The guy at the beer store down the street from me is in it. My next-door neighbor's kids are in it. I grabbed everyone and said, here, read this. And that was the start of him working for Rockstar. Fast forward to what he's done for them since, and it's incredible to be honest. Just going by his LinkedIn page, he has done a lot more than what I think most people realize. He was the co-chair of the Rockstar Games production department. He was responsible not just for all in-game media, but even overseeing teams of people all working on various elements of the games, even promotional stuff like trailers, Twitch streams, motion capture shoots. Plus, look at all of the big names that he has worked with over the years. He certainly has an impressive record at Rockstar. And these were all just people that voiced characters on the radio stations at some point. Yes, even Burt Reynolds and Phil Collins, they even made appearances on the radio in the games they were in. Also, he won't be disappearing completely, as LinkedIn does mention that he is working on new projects for Disney and Netflix. He also mentions that he's consulting for a video game company, one which he did not name. I wonder which it is. So for anybody who's a big fan of Lazlow, he will have new stuff coming up soon. But I would imagine that he has other priorities first right now. The guy has done a ton for Rockstar, and he's certainly leaving some big shoes to fill too. At the end of the day, I hope everyone understands his reason for leaving and that it might not be as cryptic as people might like to think it is. I know everyone loves to speculate, and oftentimes that speculation can come when there's no information available as to why something happened. But in this case, we do have information. At the end of the day, though, I think we can all thank Lazlow for all the entertainment he has helped provide for us in these games, and wish him the best of luck in all his future endeavors.